Hey everyone, and welcome back to session 23 of the Revolution Mindset program, where today we are going to be covering the topic of understanding wealth. Now, apologies, I'm a little bit late for this scheduled live. I've had back-to-back live interviews, some amazing live interviews with some of the coaches here at Coaching Minds that went a little bit over time. But I'm here and I'm ready to give you some tips, some thoughts, some reflective questions around understanding wealth. Now, if you're tuned in, please say hi. And as always, I ask you to put your wins in the comments box. No matter how big, no matter how small, let's keep that momentum going. Let's keep that positive energy flowing every time we connect through these Revolution Mindset lives so we can hear from you. I can celebrate this success with you. Now, today is all about understanding wealth. We are on session 23. We are almost halfway through this program. And if you have missed the first 22 sessions or any of them, just drop me a message, let me know, and I'll give you access to the replay. But for the purpose of today, let's focus on our third session around money mindset, which is all about understanding wealth. So in this session, we're going to look at what is wealth. It's going to be a very easy, simplified session today. What is wealth? What does wealth mean to you? Where might wealth be shown up in our lives? We're going to look at something I've termed wealthy tips. So some tips to think about when we start to think about wealth, if you want to attract wealth. And also we looked at something called making the decision. So I'm going to explain that to you in a bit more detail later on. But three important topics, three important points whenever we're considering reflecting on wealth. Now, before we go into that, and while I'm waiting for your wonderful achievements, your wonderful wins for the past week, I just want to talk about last session. So in the last session, we looked at the difference between a scarcity mindset and abundance mindset and how we can move from scarcity to abundance. Understanding that scarcity attracts scarcity and abundance brings abundance. So if we want to attract a lot of positive energy into our lives, we want to attract a lot of money into our lives, then we need to have a mindset of abundance rather than a mindset of scarcity. And for those of you who are unaware what scarcity is, it's a lack of something. We need to understand that there's so much out there for us, we can attract it, and that it's not limited to certain people or certain things or areas of life. So that was the key point from last session. And to open up today, I just want to open up with a quote from Winston Churchill, which I think is very, very on topic when we start to think about wealth. Winston Churchill says, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." So we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Now, just reflect on that moment. I'm going to come back to the comments box and I'm going to bring in some of your wins and celebrate them with everybody today. But I just want you to reflect on that comment. What does that mean for you? What does that invoke for you or evoke for you? We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Very important when we're considering wealth. Adele Jacob is saying, "I managed to complete tasks on my learning journey behind the scenes." Thank you so much for sharing that, Adele. I don't know what those are. If you want to share some of those achievements, let us know those tasks that you completed. They're really wonderful that you're working behind the scenes on yourself and you're getting those wins. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, on that note of we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Very, very topical when it comes to wealth, because a lot of us, when we start to think about wealth, we're thinking about what we get. What are we coming in? How much money do I earn? What am I getting from this person? What am I getting from that person? But actually, when we start to look at wealth, we need to flip it the other way. If we want to track wealth, we want to grow that positive energy, leading on from abundance last week, we need to really take a look at what we give, what we put out there. I feel personally that in today's modern society, there's too much of us focused on what can I get from this conversation? What can I get from this meeting? What can I get from that event? What can I get from this experience? Rather than what can I give to that person? What can I give to that meeting? What can I give to this event? And what can I give to this experience? When we think about wealth, when we want to attract wealth, when we attract abundance, we need to look at what we give, because what we give, we receive more of, rather than focus on what I get. Because if you start to get on what I get, again, that scarcity mindset, it's not going to help you succeed. Abundance mindset is what we give and how it attracts what we give. So what does wealth mean to you? Drop it in the comments box. I'd love to hear from you guys. Whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay, what does wealth mean to you? How would you define wealth to somebody? Now, I'm going to guess a lot of people, and I've heard from a lot of people. They don't attend this module, they want to skip this module and skip these lives because it's money mindset and it's money this and money that. But actually, when you start to tap into wealth and understand the energy of money, money becomes a little bit less important. It becomes and I'm going to talk about this later on, it becomes the byproduct of what we actually do. And wealth isn't, so myth breaker for a lot of people, wealth isn't just about money. Money actually plays a small amount. It's just what we've tied and attached wealth to. We become so attached to money that we actually forget and understand what the real wealth is. We begrudge paying, I don't know, £70 for a shop. We go shopping, we hand over the cash, or now it's not even cash, it's invisible numbers on a piece of plastic card. We hand over that, the numbers and the digits go down, and we feel, oh no, I've spent £70 on this, or $80 on that, or I've spent 5,000 Rand on this, or whatever it is, wherever you are in the world right now. And we don't sit and actually look at what we've received in return. The true wealth lies in the products that we've received and the products that we bought, what we're getting in return. But in order to get more, we need to give more. So Adele Jacob is saying, for me, it is a material things. We get something, but given gives more than material things. Given, we actually get more. So exactly, Adele, we get more when we give. There's whether you're in a spiritual sense or a logical sense or a business sense, whatever mindset you can tune into works best for you. You always understand, in order to, if you're in a business, if you want to make money, you have to invest money. You have to put money in. If you want to create positivity, you have to give positivity. The more what we give is what we receive, and we need to understand that when it comes to wealth. Adele is also saying wealth ties to emotions, feelings, joy, happiness, and connections. It does, Adele. It ties into all that, and it ties into a lot more as well. So what do we mean by wealth? What is wealth? So wealth refers to an abundance of valuable resources or possessions, typically including financial assets, property, and other assets as well. So generally, when we think of wealth, we think of money, we think of property, we think of where we've got our finance, we think of where we've got our capital. But this is just one area of wealth. And successful business people who earn money and attract money understands that you need money to attract money. And if you invest, you're going to make more in the long run. That's how wealth works. So you effectively attract abundance through your resources or possessions. Wealth provides us with a sense of security and freedom by affording us the ability to meet our needs and our desires comfortably. So the thing is, and the problem we have in today's society is, none of us, or a lot of us, struggle to find contentment. We struggle to be content with what we have. We always want more. We can live in between our means. We can be comfortable. We can have a nice house. Maybe we have a nice car. Wherever we're in the world, our perspective of wealth, our definition of wealth will be different alongside our definition of success. But we seem to be in this chase of, when we've got it, we still want more. We have that mindset of more, rather than actually understanding what it is that we have. So it can help meet our needs and our desires, but becomes a problem when those needs and desires continuously change and continuously grow. And this is where we're going to feel a lot of negative effects, because whilst we can earn a lot of money, while we can gain a lot of investment, while we can gain a lot of capital, there's risks that we can lose it all as well. We lose it all if we become so attached to it. It's going to cause us a lot of problems when we start to hit rock bottom, or we start to slide down that unsuccessful path. Third, there is wealth is not solely limited to material possessions and financial resources. It also looks at knowledge. People have a wealth of knowledge. What does your knowledge bank look like? Are you somebody that has a wealth of knowledge? Do you understand a lot about the world? Do you understand a lot about yourself? Do you understand a lot about the profession or the industry that you're in? When we start to look at wealth, we need to start to track a wealth of knowledge. Skills. How skillful are you? How wide is your skill set? Have you just mastered one or two things, or do you know a lot about things? Have you mastered skills outside of what you currently do? And have you found ways to bring those skills into what you do? This is talking and thinking about wealth. Social connections. How are your social connections? Do you have a wealth of social connections? Are you positively connected with people? Are you connected with the right people around you? Is the energy when you interact with people uplifting? Are you surrounded by the wrong people that brings and drains you and gives you negativity and demotivates you from success? How do we change that? How do we get a wealth of positivity? How do we get a wealth of social connections? How do we get a wealth of those that we interact with? We talked about this in terms of environment in a lot of detail, and the importance of where we put ourselves, who we connect with, both online and offline. And then finally, it also looks at well-being. Then I think companies and organizations in post-pandemic are really starting to understand that wealth is not just about the amount of money you can make in a business and about how much you can save in a business and just focus on the finance, your cash flow, all that sort of stuff. But actually, what's important is the wealth, the well-being within that organization. But not just in an organization, how wealthy are you with your well-being as an individual? What is it about you in terms of fulfillment? Do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel like you're taking care of yourself? How wealthy do you feel within you in terms of your mental health, your physical health, and your well-being? So wealth is not just attached to money. Wealth is more. And as Adele mentioned, it also ties into emotions, feelings, joy, happiness, and connections. If you feel all those and you have a wealth of those, you're going to live a wealthy life. And all you have to do is find contentment with your finance, abundance with your relationships, and abundance with your well-being and inside and inner happiness. And that's where you can start to really feel as a wealthy person. So next question, what role does wealth play in your overall happiness and well-being right now? So have you even thought about wealth with regards to your happiness and well-being? Or do you just see wealth as money, so you avoid the topic? You don't even go there. Maybe you have negative perspectives of money. A lot of people do. Money is the source of all evil. Money is negative. Money's this, money's that. We're going to talk about that in the next session, the final session for money. But what role does wealth play in your overall happiness and well-being? Have you attached your happiness and your well-being to your financial circumstances? A lot of people fall guilty of this. Okay, you might not have financial resources. You might be struggling a little bit financially. You might even be in debt. You might be jobless. But where do you find wealth elsewhere in your life? Where do you use that wealth in your social connections, that wealth in your positivity, that wealth in your mindset and your well-being to help with that financial situation? Just some things to reflect on. You don't have to answer in the comments box, but it's important for us to make a perspective shift. When we're thinking about wealth, we need to make that perspective shift. We need to stop giving so much value to material things. Stop chasing that bigger house. Stop chasing that bigger car. What is meant for you will come to you if you understand wealth internally. If you understand wealth through your well-being, through your social connections, through the knowledge, through the skills that you have. A lot of these skills, a lot of this knowledge, the beautiful thing about modern day society is you can access it all for free. The problem is people don't have the discipline to give the time to grow their skills, to grow their knowledge. YouTube is fantastic. You can learn absolutely anything on YouTube. But do you have the time and the discipline to go out there and learn and to study it? So we need to make a perspective shift of wealth, to stop focusing so much to material things and to seek fulfillment in life. Seek contentment, but also fulfill. Be fulfilled in what we do. Find that passion within. Stop having this mentality that I'm going to do this, I'm going to put in this and put in this, and then eventually I'll get the happiness when I get that promotion, or when I get that job, or when I get that house, or when I get this. Change it. Seek fulfillment in what you currently have. Find wealth in your well-being. Understand how wealth is part of your well-being. How do you have a wealth in your mindset, in your mental health, in your physical health? There's a saying, don't sacrifice your health for your wealth, which is a nice saying. It's good, put your health first before your wealth. But how do you actually understand that wealth is actually within your health? That wealth is part of your well-being. Wealth is part of who you are. So when you ask yourself, are you a wealthy person? Don't just look at the finance. Look at everything else that contributes it. Finance is just a small part. And then work to increase your social connections. The wealthiest person in the world is not the person who has the billions of dollars. There's rich people out there that feel so alone. The wealthiest person in the world is the person who has those strongest and biggest and close social connections with positive energy and true unconditional love. And the more of those you have, the wealthier you are as an individual. So focus less on money and focus more on people. And when you make that perspective shift, you can start to actually earn more money and attract more money to your life. So the next question I have, I'm just going to come back to the comments here. Adele is saying that wealth for me is being able to give and support, being happy in the present moment, and the rest will fall naturally in place. The key is balance. Words of wisdom there, Adele. Thank you so much for sharing that and introducing it into today's session. Really, really appreciate it. So how do cultural and societal influences shape your understanding and pursuit of wealth? So does society, or I feel it does, my personal perspective, I would love to hear your perspective as well, is I feel like the society that I've grown up in and that I'm part of, based in the UK, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of influences on, kind of keeping up with the Joneses, or modern day term, keeping up with the Kardashians, wanting that next best house, that next best car, and that's wealth. Wealth is based on the material possessions that we own, the type of designer clothes that we wear, whatever it is. That is where we are told the real true wealth belongs to. And I think it's only starting to hit people now after everything we've gone through as a society globally, and impact globally, that we're starting to realize that actually that's not the true wealth. The true wealth is the interaction, the people we have around us, the love that we're supported by, the connections that we have, the well-being that we possess within us, mentally and physically, the knowledge and the skills that we possess. That's where the true wealth lies. But how are you influenced by your culture and society at the moment to understand and pursue wealth? Another reflective question for you. So some wealth tips. So a lot of people think about money. So I'm going to talk about wealth and money here and some tips here. So just don't fall into the trap, because when we are influenced by society and we're influenced about getting more money, getting more cars, getting more houses, getting more things, eating at the best restaurants, doing this, doing that, all that stuff that involves a lot of money. If you have the wealth, then enjoy it. If that's what you have and you have the ability to do that, enjoy it. What I'm saying, and the key message from today, is don't chase that. And if you really want that, you have to change your perspective and your mindset, because it's not by chasing that the plastic card and the digits on there, or the paper that you hold in your hand. That's not what's going to attract you wealth. What's going to attract you wealth is these 4 points. One, understanding that money is a byproduct of the service that you do. So whatever you give, your money is the second option. It shouldn't be the leading thing. I'm not going to do this to make money. I'm not going to do that to make money. It's, I'm going to serve these people, and in return, they're going to pay me for the service that I offer. And the more we show up with that, the better the service we deliver, the more we put into it, the more we're going to receive money as a byproduct. So it's a byproduct of what we actually give to the world and through our customer service in whatever we work in. The common way is we work for a company, they pay us a salary. Common way for that, but the money is a byproduct. We get promotions, we get increases if we actually put in the work and increase what we do and build on our knowledge and skills and experience. Get rich schemes don't work. A lot of people are too lazy to get rich. They're too lazy to get rich, and they look for quick schemes, they look for quick ways to make some quick money. They're not sustainable. They're not going to help with you. And generally the people that are successful will waste those schemes and kind of get rid of that money in time as well. You're not good with money if you're going and chasing get rich schemes. And this includes just simple things like the lottery. The percentage, okay, some people do win the lottery, some people accidentally get famous and rich quite quick, but the percentage across the globe over the billions of people that exist today is very, very low. So by changing that, you're giving yourself not a great percentage of succeeding or attracting wealth. So avoid get rich quick schemes. Avoid, things in here that I really talk about is trying to charge thousands of pounds for a skill and knowledge that you've just learned about 2 weeks ago. I just done an article and a talk, and I really advocate that I don't like high ticket sales. And it's not because I don't think there's things out there that's worth thousands and thousands of dollars, but it's just I see too many people learn something and then 1 week later think they can charge 6,000-7,000 to charge it. They're not even experts in that area, but they're trying to portray themselves as experts to get 1 or 2 lucky wins to build their finance. You know, I learned something yesterday. I was at the Best You Expo, wonderful piece of advice given. And he said that it was Bill Walsh, who was the mentor of Les Brown and some other top speakers around the world. And it was really wonderful. One thing that really stuck in from me from that talk was that, you know, if you've been in the industry or been in your profession for under 5 years, you're an innovator. If you've been in the profession for over 5 years, you're an expert. And until you get to that level of expert, you can't charge. You know, you got to be mindful and conscious of what you actually charge. And there's too many people, and this is my perspective from what he shared. He just shared that point. But my perspective from this, what I took away is there's too many people that have been working at what they've been working at for under 5 years and trying to charge expert prices when they haven't got a Scoobies or a clue about what it is they're delivering. And it's obvious and easy to see when you've been in the industry for as long as I've been, and you know, other skills and things that I possess. You can see when people are trying to bullshit their way to the top. And one thing to remember is bullshit might get you to the top, but it won't help you stay there. Quote to keep in mind. So money arrives from your service. Point 3. I digressed a little bit there. Money arrives from your service to people. Doesn't matter what you do. You don't have to get out there and be a public speaker. You don't have to get out there and write 10 books. You just have to find your calling, your passion, your way to serve other people. Your money will arrive by serving people bread. If you love to bake, if you love to bake cakes, if you love fashion, if you love football, if you love whatever it is you love, and you're serving through that, then you'll find a way to align your passion to what you serve, and you're chasing your passion, you're chasing your service, and that's your number one priority. Again, going back to number 1, the money will come through as a byproduct. So your number one priority needs to be the service that you give to people. And finally, number 4, you have to work hard and smart. I hate it. I see so many motivational speakers. Don't work hard, work smart. You have to work both. If you really want to succeed, you really want to make a difference, you need to find a way to work smart, and you need to work hard at that smart working, because it's going to be the energy you put in. It's going to be the time you put into what it is you're trying to deliver that is going to determine whether or not you're successful. And you have to show up. You know, you can't just show up when you feel like it. You've got to show up. You've got to work hard. You've got to find ways to both innovate, create resilience, and really build what it is that you're setting out to achieve. You know, a lot of people can work hard but not smart, which is wasted time. You know, I've heard people who work 16 hours, but what they've been working on is taking them away or damaging their brand or pulling them away or whatever it is they're working on. That's not good. You know, you need to find out how to work smart first. When you found that smart way of working, work harder at that way, and then find a smarter way as well. So you need to work smart and hard, at least for the first 3 to 5 years when you're putting in your business or whatever it is you're working at. You need to put in them hours. Even in an organization, a business, managers, leaders, they love to see hard workers. If you want a promotion, you want to make your way through a career progression within an organization, you have to work hard and you have to work smart. You have to get in an hour early before everybody else and leave an hour after everybody else, just to show your commitment, just to put in the effort, just to make sure the work is delivered. Risk, when you do that, you do become a workaholic. I'm not promoting workaholics here, but you do have to work harder, you do have to work smart if you want to chase wealth. So just do some tips there on wealth. And finally, the last thing I want to cover today before we go into our workshop of putting into practice, we start to dive a little bit deeper in this, and I can hear from you and what you're working on, but is to really understand, what do you want money for? This is a question that people kind of get wrong and don't understand. And if you want to track more money, you want to track more wealth, you have to start to ask yourself this question: what do you want money for? And there's a reason why this is one of the key questions from today. I'm going to go and have Adele's put something in here. She says, what you put in is what you get out. Take time and reflect on what you put in. Time, effort, and work. Exactly, Adele. You know, and through wealth, you can see that. You know, you honestly, it does take money to gain money. You need to invest money in something to pull more money out. It's just how the energy of money works. But it's the same with anything. You know, you want to build your social connections in terms of your wealth, your social connections. You've got to put that energy in to build those social connections. They're not just going to arrive on your doorstep. You know, a lot of people think money grows on trees, and for some people it does. You know, some people get lucky, they get an inheritance from a passing of a family member, or they come into some big money through a piece of luck, a stroke of luck. And, you know, but the percentage of that is very, very small. You have to work hard, you have to work smart. but you also have to know what you want the money for. And there's a reason why I've asked this question, and it's something I've learned from personal experience, is that as soon as we make the decision and we are clear on what we want the money for, it's going to arrive to us in places that we didn't even expect. You know, if you want that business, you want to set up that business, you want the money to do that business, start, make an effort, be clear, make the work, put it there, and the money will come along your journey, along the path, along the social connections that you're making. You'll find help and support to get the finance for what it is that you want to do. But you've got to be clear on what you do. Because if you're not clear when you pitch your business, when you pitch this, when you put that project out there, when you try and sell this service, when you try and sell whatever it is you're trying to sell, if you're not clear on it, people are going to pick that up. They're going to understand that you don't know what you're talking about. You're not clear on what you're delivering. You're not clear on what the value that you're going to be giving to me. So you're not going to attract the money. So make the decision on what you want the money for and be clear on what you want. Draft an investment plan. Once you're clear, draft an investment plan. Okay, what do I need this money for? So this money is going to be for X, it's going to be for my business. When I make that money back, okay, where am I going to invest that? What am I going to take from it to reward myself for the work I put in? But where am I going to invest that future money to grow that money further and to create more wealth? Draft an investment plan for yourself and visualize your future. Visualize your future. So honestly, you want to attract more wealth, you want to attract more money, you have to look at wealth at a wider span, that it's not just money, it's your knowledge, it's your skills, it's your social connections, it's your experience, it's your connections, it's your well-being. Once you start to look at this and you invest in that wealth, the money will come, the money will flow. You become clear on what you want. You can draft an investment plan. You can start to visualize the future that you want to live. And you will start to attract it by the work that you put in, by the connections that you make, by the way you hold yourself, by the way your mental health is clear, your focus is clear, your discipline is clear. Understanding wealth and everything else will attract wealth financially. So if you're here, if you're tuning in, you're watching the replay, or you're tuned in live, and you're thinking that financially you're struggling, you're never going to get wealthy, then stop even thinking about your finances. Start to look at wealth in other areas of your life so you can build and start from there and then attract it in all other areas. So make the decision. So the week challenge, create your own definition of wealth. So from everything that I've talked about today, start to think about your definition of wealth. Start to think about what it is you really want and why you want it. It's important to understand why you want it. The thing I missed out when about making that decision is, you are more likely to attract money to your life if you want the money to give to other people. But if you want the money solely for yourself, to build that car, to have that house, you're not going to attract much. If you want money to give to other people, to invest further, to help people, to support people, to serve the world in a wider way, you're going to attract more. So create your own definition of wealth from everything that I've covered today and ask yourself, where is wealth showing up for you right now? Where's it showing up for you? Do you have a wealth of knowledge? Do you have a wealth of skills? How do you turn those into a wealth of finance? How's your well-being? Are you wealthy with your well-being? Are you wealthy with your social connections? How do you build those? So think about where wealth is showing up right now. And then I just want to leave you with this thought. When you set clear intentions on where to spend your money, it will arrive to you in ways you never expected. Trust me, I'm speaking from experience. When you're clear on your goal, when you're clear on your vision, and you have a pure intention to serve other people, the finance will arrive when you least expect it. And yes, there'll be challenging times where your bank balance is in the negative or it's very low. I've been there myself. You're struggling, and then all of a sudden, because of the work you've done, at the right time, you receive your reward, you receive the finance, and you'll start to pick yourself back up. So when you set clear intentions on where to spend your money, it will arrive to you in ways you never expected. So today's workshop, which is also 10 minutes late, so we're going to jump into it straight after this. Put it into practice. We're going to look at a mindfulness exercise. We're going to have a discussion on whether or not money buys happiness. We're going to identify wealth in our lives currently, and we're going to develop a wealth plan together. That's what we're going to be covering in the workshop. If you want to access this workshop or join us in the next session or next live, the next live for the final session of money is changing our perspective of money. We're going to be looking at some negative perspectives we hold, the negative energy that we give to money, and how that's going to block us from attracting money. We're going to look at that, and it's going to be changing our perspective of money, week 24. If you want to join the workshop, you want to catch up on all the previous sessions, and you can join me in my coaching room at hub www.coachingminds.co.uk, where you can become a revolutionary, you can connect with me, you can ask any questions, you can access extra content, and you can learn, grow, and work your way through the Revolution Mindset program. Drop me a message or just join hub.coachingminds.co.uk. And on that note, I have 1 minute for any questions that's come through here. If you have any questions in the replay, drop them in the comments box below and I'll get back to you on there. So Adele, I'm just going to bring in your comment. I don't think there's any questions coming through. So I'm bringing Adele's final comment, which says, to live comfortable with abundance in my life, connections, happiness, inner peace, success in business venture. So really good inner and outer energy there, Adele. Really good alignment there. So thank you so much for sharing that. And, I wish everybody abundance. I wish everybody to succeed. We talked about scarcity to abundance last week, moving from competitive to collaborative. It's going to change your life, just that small change. So just want to say a huge thank you, Adele, for being tuned in. And I've seen a couple of other people tune in silently. So thank you so much for being here and watching. I hope you've learned something useful to expand your wealth of knowledge and your wealth of skills. And if you do need anything from me, just please reach out. And I want to wish you a wonderful day, evening, wherever you are in the world. I look forward to connecting with you in our next talk. Thank you.